So, today we're tackling a frustration that plays out in office buildings, well, literally all over the world. Picture this, okay? You're the hardworking, quiet, completely reliable employee. You're the one who always goes the extra mile. You put in the hours, you never complain, and you just kind of wait patiently for your loyalty to be recognized. And yet, when the big promotion is finally announced, it goes to the glad-handing, highly political colleague who just showed up 6 months ago. It is maddening, isn't it? Honestly, if you've ever felt totally passed over, despite knowing for a fact that you do a fantastic job, you are absolutely not alone. So let's dive right in and uncover the actual mechanics behind career advancement.
We really have to start by asking this pretty provocative question. Why didn't the best person get the promotion? See, there's this pervasive myth in corporate culture that doing a great job is your guaranteed ticket to climbing the ladder. We're all taught that if you just put your head down and work hard, success is naturally going to follow. But here's the stark reality. Just doing your job might actually be the biggest career mistake you can make. The person who is technically the best at their current role is very, very rarely the one who gets tapped for the corner office. And we're going to break down exactly why that happens.
Take a look at this quote. This brilliantly illustrates the core misunderstanding we all have. The harsh reality is that employers are not rewarding strong performers for their past contributions. They're investing in their future contributions. It's a crushing but absolutely essential reality check. Promotions? They are not a gold star for past good behavior. You don't earn a promotion, and it is never, ever your turn. The source text even compares this to those bad political campaigns where a candidate runs on a platform of, "Vote for me, I've earned it," instead of actually offering a clear vision for the future. Decision makers only care about what you can do for them and the company in that new position. Your past? It's just one single piece of evidence.
To help guide us through this new reality, we're drawing heavily from this incredibly insightful book, Who Gets Promoted, Who Doesn't, and Why by Donald Asher. You can think of this as the ultimate insider's guide. Asher didn't just guess at these principles. He spent over 20 years coaching fast-track careerists and interviewing actual HR gatekeepers, the people who actually make those tough decisions about who moves up and who stays put. So these are secrets coming straight from the strategists who have successfully passed through those gates of power, usually beating out smarter and sometimes way more talented rivals.
We really need to aggressively dismantle that old paradigm. When a manager has a vacancy to fill, they aren't looking to hand out a prize for past loyalty. Instead, they're making an investment in future value. They are trying to optimize the outcome of a staffing change. You've got to prove that you are the absolute optimum choice to deliver future performance. You aren't just competing against other candidates. Actually, scratch that. It's more like you are competing against the company's perception of the risks involved in moving you out of your current role.
Now, this is where things get really fascinating. There is a shocking truth in the business world. This skill set of someone earning, say, $65,000 to $85,000 a year is very often exactly the same as the skill set of someone earning $200,000 to $300,000 a year. So what separates them? Why does one person just breeze past that bottleneck of middle management, while the other gets completely stuck? Well, it's not skills, it's purely strategic execution. The highly paid executives know the secrets to getting promoted, and they meticulously position and represent themselves using those exact secrets.
To put this into perspective, we need to understand the hidden math of promotions. Human resources professionals have this rule of thumb. It costs roughly 1.5 times an annual salary to recruit and onboard a new executive or function head. If a company promotes you from within, they now have to fill your old job. They have to sit down and evaluate the massive financial risk and the disruption of replacing you. If it costs them more money, time, and headache to replace you in your current role than it does to just hire someone fresh off the street for the higher role, well, they're going to hire the person off the street. Every time.
The Strategic Playbook, 10 Rules to Be Special.
Doing your job well is merely the baseline, right? It's a non-negotiable foundation, but it just isn't enough on its own. However, if you execute these specific strategies, you'll transform your entire career trajectory. Simply put, if you do these 10 things, you are special. You move from being just another reliable worker to becoming a highly promotable, fast-track superstar. We're talking about mastering timing, getting noticed, lifelong learning, viewing all business as sales, having an ascension plan, managing boss optics, utilizing something called suction, fighting guardian angels, knowing when to move, and cultivating luck. Now, obviously, we don't have time to deep dive into every single one of these today, but we are going to extract the most powerful, game-changing concepts from this list so you can get started immediately.
So let's zero in on rule number 2, getting noticed. When decision makers look at you, they aren't just asking, can they do the job? No, they're asking a much scarier question. Can they become the job? They are incredibly worried about how you'll represent the unit. Will you act right? Will you be a great reflection on the manager? And this is where your leadership demeanor comes in. The text notes that by dressing as if you already have the promotion and acting perfectly comfortable in your own skin, you instantly remove a huge psychological worry from your boss's mind. You already look and act right for the position.
And this leads us to a data point that completely interrupts our expectations. Get this. Studies show that accountants who test highly for confidence are actually ranked by their peers and bosses as being more skilled than accountants who simply test highly for accounting knowledge. Let that sink in for a second. It is often way more important to look like you know what you're doing than to actually know everything. Your ability to confidently sell your potential totally trumps raw technical knowledge in the eyes of management. If you don't sell your accomplishments, your hard work has zero career value. Period.
Moving on to our next section, the irreplaceable trap.
This brings us to perhaps the most counterintuitive lesson in this entire explainer. Most of us strive to be the go-to person, right? The one the company simply cannot survive without. But strategically speaking, becoming too essential is actually a career death sentence. Like it says here, if you are more valuable where you are, you won't be getting that promotion. Think about it. If you've hoarded critical knowledge, or if you've addicted external customers exclusively to yourself, or you're literally the only person who can keep a massive project running, why would management ever move you? Dislodging you would just be too disruptive to the organization. The brilliant software engineer who won't share their code, or the legal secretary whose boss can't function without them. Yeah, those people are never getting promoted. Management will happily leave you exactly where you are.
So how do you escape this trap? Well, you follow Donald Asher's 4-step methodology for making yourself completely easily replaceable. Step 1, document your job meticulously. Step 2, train and develop your subordinates so they can step up. Step 3, cross-train your lateral colleagues to cover your position if needed. And Step 4, pick a lieutenant and make sure they're ready to step into your shoes at a moment's notice. By actively clearing the runway below you, you are removing the biggest organizational hurdle to your own ascension. Next up, the power of proximity.
You know, sometimes advancing your career is less about what you're doing and much more about where you're standing and who you're standing next to. This brings us to a really brilliant concept from the text known as suction. Suction is basically the career momentum you gain simply by standing next to a superstar. Highly talented, fast-moving executives create a massive amount of commotion and activity. They are constantly being promoted themselves, which creates instant vacancies right behind them. So if you maneuver yourself to be the protege of a rising superstar, you get pulled up the ladder in their wake. When they move up, you move up to fill the gap. It artificially accelerates your advancement without you having to fight through all the usual bureaucratic red tape.
Alongside suction, you must actively seek out what the text calls a guardian angel. Now, this isn't just a regular mentor. This is a benefactor who is several steps above you in the organizational hierarchy. You need someone with real power, who genuinely likes you, who has a soft spot for you, and who is willing to protect your interests behind closed doors. Because when promotion committees meet and those inevitable debates happen, you need an influential voice at that table, willing to step in and fight on your behalf.
As we pull all of these strategic threads together, the core takeaway of this explainer is crystal clear. You must control your destiny. You simply cannot afford to passively sit at your desk, do a great job, and hope the corporate universe miraculously rewards you. You have to actively manage boss optics, make yourself replaceable in your current role, stand in the wake of superstars, and strategically package yourself for the future. Remember, if you do these 10 things we've outlined, you are special, and you absolutely will break through the bottleneck. I want to leave you with this really powerful question to chew on. Are you managing your career, or are you just experiencing it? Are you driving the car, or are you just a passenger hoping you end up somewhere good? It's time to abandon the myth of hard work alone, folks. Start implementing these special rules immediately. Change your strategy and go claim the success you actually deserve. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll catch you next time.